Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 165 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the guy on your other screen or in your other ear if you're listening to the podcast. It is Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. There it is, take three, and I got it out. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Brendan. We got to put that up that last intro in somehow. We can't cut that out.
You can't just put up a stream of bleeps through.
Yes, you can. The first bit was funny, then it just went downhill from there.
Well, completely out of practice, mate.
I was going to say that's the first stuff up you've really done, I reckon. Like apart from when we did the whole episode, you didn't press record. That one.
That was amazing. And you know what's so cool about that is that it'll never see the light of day because it was never recorded.
It was never recorded. That was a couple of years ago now.
Probably the best episode we've ever done.
Probably. Well, speaking of best episodes ever done, like last week's episode, holy moly! Didn't you come to the fore? Didn't you come to the ground there with some beautiful interview questions and a great topic and a great guest there? It was fantastic.
Oh, well, it's easy when you've got a guest that knows clearly, exactly what they're talking about, and I think I'm genuinely interested, I guess. I guess that's why it works, because I actually want to know what makes these photographers tick. And in particular, Cheryl, like, macro photographers are, they're sort of unique, I think. And I love the fact that she finds such incredible imagery in the macro world. So, it was very well received. So thanks for everyone who tuned in to episode 164. I'm just going to put a card up above your head, Cameron. It's over there above your head. If you didn't see episode 164, it's going to be there. So jump in and have a look. Yeah,
no, it was good. It was a good episode. I actually like watching our show when I'm not on it. It's good. It's actually quite entertaining.
Well, next week you might have to watch again because you're off to Flinders Ranges. So
I am. Have you linked up anyone?
Can't say.
Oh, that's a funny name. Can't say.
Yeah. Haven't confirmed yet, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Straight off the top, apologies for dragging the chain. It's all my fault. On our winner of the photo comp from was it like 2 months ago? No, it was like last month.
It's like 2024.
When the theme was glass.
Yep.
We have a winner. How about I put the image on the screen and you tell everyone who it is. Ready?
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, can you do it? Or just stuff it up?
We need a drum roll. Ta-da!
Congratulations to guy with a cool name, Cameron Harris, with your lovely shot of the windmill. That's not a windmill. A lighthouse in the reflecting in there. It looks like old school. It does. Looks like old school glass, which is cool. We thought that was pretty clever. So congratulations to Cameron Harris. I know where that is. That is the Cape. No, it's not. It's the Cape Shank Lighthouse, I believe.
Ah, very good.
I know that tree in front of the door. I've taken a photo of that tree in front of the door before. So he gets a $50 voucher from. Sorry, I misread that. $50 voucher from Ocean Grove Camera and Photo. Brendan, hit us up, send us a message, drop us a line, drop into the store if you live that way, and pick up your voucher from Brendan. But good shot. What we'll do now, as per tradition, we'll put up our top 10 onto the Down South Photo Show Facebook page where you guys can go and choose.
9 because I think one of ours overlapped.
Yes, it is a top 9. Yes, because we did overlap. And then you guys can go and vote for the most popular one that you like, and then that person will win something off me at the end of this month.
They'll get a Nissan Navara.
Yep, sure. Let's give them. No, you win a car. Everyone wins a car.
Or a Patrol. No, you've got one. You've got one to give away.
Yeah, no, not anymore. I like it now. It's got a stereo that works. I'll give him a book.
Finally.
Yes, I'll give him a book and get that done. But yeah, good shot. Awesome creativity, use of glass, taking photos of something that's got glass in it through a lens that's got glass in it. That's good stuff.
It's cool. It's layer upon layer upon layer. We will have a new thing for you next month. In the meantime, Cam,
yes,
would you like to throw up a photo of the week?
Let's do that, shall we?
Of yours.
Oh yeah, you can chuck mine up first if you want.
Would you like to do this? Would you like to do this? I'm picking. This is cool. I like this.
This is cool. I like it too. So that was taken last night. About a 2 and 45-minute drive from my house. Went out with Jamie, good friend of the show, and we went up the Midlands Highway, and we knew the Aurora was still kicking off. We had a huge Aurora activity in the last 3 days. This Aurora went for 3 days. That's how big it was.
It was big.
So yeah, the first night was the Sunday night. We had a bit of cloud cover. The Monday night it rained, and then last night it was just clear enough. So him and I had this idea of going up to these dunes up on the north end of Tassie to get the Aurora, and we didn't actually think about the Milky Way being there, but it just happened to be in the top of the frame. But it was pretty cool. Really low down shot with the tripod. I got a little bit of my phone torch to sort of get the ripples on the sand lit up, and the Aurora did its thing for a couple of minutes and then disappeared. But yeah, it was pretty cool. This is a shot. Actually, the other shot that's on there with the little church, the white church as well. The two of these shots I've been thinking of trying to get for like the last 3 years, and last night they both happened at once, which I thought was pretty cool. This little church is on the Midlands Highway, and I've driven past it so many times and thought to myself, geez, that'd make a good shot with X, Y, or Z. And then last night we almost didn't go here. I'm like, let's just have a look and see what happened, and it all worked really nicely. So it was a good night out. Got home at 2:00. The last shot, if you want to put the last shot up, was the last shot we took of the night, and that was freezing. It was like -1, which is a cool little hut near Ross, which is in the middle of Tassie. We used our iPhone just in the actual hut, and then Jamie did a bit of light painting on the hut on the outside, and away we went. I went inside that hut to take the light, and when I went in there, it's just an old abandoned hut. There was all these swallow nests all around the what do you call it? The roof beams, the rafters. And as soon as I turned my light on, they all woke up, and they're all flying around this little hut, like flicking me ahead, and like there was about 10 of them all flying around. I'm like, hurry up, Jamie, I'm getting attacked. But yeah, we got some great shots last night. So all taken into one night, all single frame shots. Yeah, it was good fun.
Very cool. I mean, yeah. So we were going to talk about the Aurora part of the show. We're going to talk about it now. Massive geostorm event. Is that what they call it? Geostorm.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, yeah. It's a geo. Yeah, it is.
And it's funny how close it aligned to the same time last year, because we had in mid-May last year, we had the biggest event I've ever witnessed with my naked eye here in Southern Australia, and all across Australia really. And this time it kicked off big time on the Sunday night. We were in a similar position to you, that we had the good old pesky cloud cover rolled in and sort of slowed things down. But then Monday night, went out to the beach with my daughter and got some cool shots of the Aurora.
Good stuff.
Had a bit of fun. I want to talk to you briefly about Aurora settings, Cam.
Let's move on.
Would you like to come on a little ride with me?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go have a chat, because this is one thing that people talk about a lot. Is Aurora settings and what you can see and what you can't see, and so yeah, let's go down there and have a bit of a chat. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of regular listeners to the show have probably picked up tips from us over the journey, or they've been out and shot the Aurora. They kind of understand how it works. However, just in the last little Aurora burst that happened, I started to read some interesting stuff online about different camera settings. So we all know that, ideally you have a lens that has a wide aperture that can let in a fair amount of light. Very useful, because the Aurora is difficult to see with the naked eye, but the camera can pick it up a lot better due to the fact that it can open up to lower apertures. You can use long exposures, but more importantly, you can shoot at higher ISO levels. So your sensor's sensitivity to the available light is boosted higher, so you can get more of that light absorbed into the sensor. And traditionally, I'd be f2.8, nice and wide open. With the lens I use the OM System 7-14, which I love that lens. It's a great lens. Goes to f2.8. Of course, you can get brighter lenses, but that one suits the purpose. It gives me a nice wide angle for the beach shots and that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then I normally start at around 3200 ISO, see what kind of results I'm getting, and then tweak. So season to taste. So I might want to have a slightly shorter shutter speed. I might want to have more ISO, etc., until I get the balance right that I'm looking for. However, someone, I don't even know where they were. I think they might have even been locally. They posted a photo and showed their settings that they'd shot at f4.5, which
how rude.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, that's different. I hadn't really, because quite often I'm playing with shutter speed and ISO. I don't normally change the aperture because I want as much light coming in as possible. But this person was saying that it was, actually really, really bright. They were shooting with a 50 mil. So they had I think it was a Nikon system. They had a 50 mil f4.5, 12,800 ISO. So it was interesting. And I was like, okay, well, why? And then I started to think about it. And the response actually came in the comments as well, that because the beams of the Aurora were moving across the sky as they do, he basically wanted to give himself a faster shutter speed, but a longer, a higher aperture number, so as to give himself slightly greater depth of field at a faster shutter speed. So it was really interesting. And mind you, nailed it. Like the photo was cool. The photo was really good. And it was like, yeah, you've got real good beam definition at 50 mil there.
Beam definition. I like that.
Beam definition.
Beam definition. Yeah. That's a Star Trek phrase.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Right. Yeah. And I started pulling that apart in my brain. I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't have thought f4.5 when you focus to infinity is going to have that much of an impact.
So everything you've just said then, I haven't seen the photo, don't know the photo. I would say that person has maybe a lower level of understanding of photography than maybe others.
Okay.
Would be my thing. So exactly what you're going to say, f4, like you're talking about depth of field, different if it had like a foreground or something like that. If it was just the beams and the coastline and stuff like that,
which is pretty much
your depth of field in space is not getting affected from 2.8 to 4.5. It's making absolutely no difference at all.
Yeah. So it begs the question, why? Like,
I would say why is because they were trying to get a shutter speed that they wanted, and just played around with the settings until they got that, not realizing what they were doing. Like 12,800 ISO at f4.5 on an Aurora that had a half moon shining on it. That seems like really out of whack settings to me. Like my settings,
I think it was 4 seconds as well, by the way.
4 seconds, right? So the shots I took those on the Leica, which is I've got a 15 mil lens. That's also a 4.5 lens. So I was shooting at 4.5. They're all 15 seconds at 1600 ISO. Okay. So in regards to the beams, like I've only ever seen 2 Auroras, and none of these Auroras were doing it over the weekend, but I've only ever seen 2 Auroras where the flickering is quite like consistent. Usually it's very slow if moving at all. Most of the time it's going up or down as such. Like those ones there weren't really moving at all. They were just beams piping up. Okay. So why they use those settings, again, I don't want to be nasty about it, but I would say that it's probably lack of knowledge as opposed to trying to achieve something. I don't know, like their description doesn't match to their, what they're trying to do.
Can you let us in on, so if you can recall, the settings for that particular photo that's on the screen now?
Yeah, my settings are almost the same all night long. I barely touched anything. So my settings on that one was 1600 ISO. It was on the 15 mil lens, which I'm pretty sure is a 4.5 aperture lens.
Yep.
And it was 15 seconds.
So f4.5.
F4.5, 15 seconds, ISO 1600. The only thing I changed all night was at one stage we shot a silo, which was actually being covered by, oh, look at you, 4.5. It's got a stutter. So 4.5. The only time I changed something was when I did the silo shot. It was actually getting covered by trees, and I upped my ISO to 3200, but that's as high as I went.
Yep.
So, and I think there might have been a time, there's one with the sand dunes and the Milky Way with the light painting. I think that may have been, no, that was still 15 seconds. I think I had 15 seconds the entire night through.
Yep.
And all I changed was the ISO for when it got brighter or darker. So I had the wide open aperture in, because depth of field doesn't happen at night. Like that.
Well, particularly not at that kind of distance.
Not at that distance, but even the one with the church there, like 4.5, I'm still focusing on infinity. That church is dead sharp. Wide angle lenses, as you know, have huge depth of fields at all types of apertures.
Yes.
So why that person had 12,800 ISO on, no idea. Like that would mean the only reason they would have that is to try and get that shutter speed. But it makes no sense either, Brendan, because if you do the maths, if you put that back up there, 16 ISO 60, sorry, ISO 1600, 4.5, 15 seconds. If I half that 15 seconds, that's 7.5 seconds. That's the same as shooting at ISO 3200. Or if I halve that again, it's 3 and a bit seconds. It's at 6400 ISO. So they've gone even further to try and get the maths doesn't add up either, really.
Yeah,
so
I am curious, and I might do a bit more digging about this because I'm interested in that. And as I say, it piqued my interest because they put up their settings of being f4.5 for a start at 12,800 ISO. It was like,
which is huge ISO.
And I'll say it again, the photo was good. It looked great. Like the beams were pin sharp, and it was. I think the times I've photographed it, I've got the beams, no worries at all. But I always feel like my exposure time is too long, and I'm constantly walking the tightrope between too high an ISO and too long a shutter speed. You want to try and get those down.
But even some of the shots I do, like I'll go up to 20 seconds, and the beams still look sharp. The beams still look like beams. Like I said,
no two Auroras are the same, right? So it does depend on the conditions you've got. Like you said before, you've seen moving beams.
Yeah, but I've never, like we had that massive Aurora we had here this time last year. My shutter speed was quite short, but it wasn't for the beams. It was just because it was so bright.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a 1 minute or half a minute or 45 seconds shutter speed, you might start to see those beams sort of blur a bit. But most of the time they're not. Well, they are moving at bloody light speed up there, but they're not really necessarily doing it down here. So
that's right.
And it's funny that like you bring up settings. Like again, I haven't joined any Aurora groups or anything like that because they just get overwhelmed on nights like this. You just have nothing but stuff on your feeds all day long. But every now and then I'll poke my head in there and you look at some of the settings. You're like, what are you shooting that for? Like the same moment that you've sort of had. It's like, why are you shooting those settings for? Like my go-to Aurora and Star settings is ISO 1600, 15 seconds, wide open aperture.
Yep.
I actually did a one-on-one today with a lady and set up her astro mode on her camera, and that's exactly what I put in. And it's a perfect starting point. The only thing I really adjust is the ISO, if need be, or the shutter speed if there's a full moon or something like that. But I think people overthink it a bit.
So to that end as well, last night the Aurora was still kicking on, and the night before it was as well. Yeah. How should our viewers and listeners combat the moon? Like it's going to have an impact, and for me, it washed out the colors of the Aurora a little. Yeah. Do you think there's a technique that you can employ to? I mean, is it just a matter of wait?
A little bit. Well, a little bit. We found last night. Like we had a half moon, a 50% moon last night.
Yeah, that's right.
But any more than that, I wouldn't even bother. If I have a bigger moon than that and there's an Aurora going on, I don't even bother because you're just going to get, like I said, it's going to wash out.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that if I can. What happens when you've got a quarter moon or a half moon is that you get amazing fill light. So the huts and the dunes and all that kind of stuff, we're already getting lit by the half moon anyway. So I find the half moons work really well, but you will find that your exposure time changes a bit. You've got to watch shadows, your shadow on the ground and things like that with the moon. But I actually don't mind it because it does a little bit of light painting for you. It just means that you probably, you might not even need to be at 1600 ISO. You can maybe get away with 800 ISO. Yeah. Which makes no sense why that guy went up to 12,800 ISO on an Aurora that had a half moon. Like that just makes. Like for me,
in their defense, I think that might have been on the Sunday night. So when the moon was a lot less. So
only just. Yeah. I've got shots from the Monday night of those old ghost trees, and they were all moonlit as well. What it suspects to me, this may be real left field, but did he have a polarizing filter still in his camera?
Oh, quite possibly.
Because there seems to be about a 2-stop over adjustment on his settings. But look, I don't know the photos. I don't know the settings. I don't know what camera he's using, all that kind of stuff. But I think, yeah, as a go-to thing, even if it's no moon, 15 seconds, ISO 1600, and aperture as wide open as your lens can go,
Yep.
is a good starting point. If your lens only goes to 4.5 or something like that, then you may need to go ISO 3200. But I don't mind a little bit of moon. Jamie and I were talking. Jamie's quite a good astrophotographer, and he's the same. He goes, I love having that little bit of moon because it just helps fill the foreground in as well without blowing out the aurora in the skies. You just got to be careful once it gets a bit bigger than that. That's all.
Yeah. Good. Well, a pro tip there. If you're going out to shoot the aurora, don't forget to take your polarizing filter off.
Take your polarizing filter off. Try and keep that ISO where you can, as low as you can. 1600 is good. If it's a really bright night or something like that, then you, like I said, you might need to go more. Just to give you an indication, that other picture I just put up there, that was Sunday night. And that was with a tiny little bit of light. Like my phone was on really low to light up that tree, but that tree natively, without any light from us, was still glowing from a half moon. And they were 20-second exposures, these ones. So
don't you love what the aurora does to the stars behind the aurora?
Yes, yeah. It looks weird, doesn't it?
It makes them look like little nebula. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. So look, the aurora is great. The biggest tip I have for people shooting auroras, like away from the settings that you use, the biggest tip I have is when editing's a big thing.
Massive.
Don't overcook the colors and don't oversaturate and don't over contrast. I actually saw some photos just before we came on, and they must drive a truck for a living, and they parked their truck on a highway and took a shot of the aurora with their truck there. But it's so grungy that you can't actually see where the road is and their truck ends and the background. Like it's all this black blob and then this aurora. So you can still play around with your shadows in editing. You can still bring up some of the foreground details, but try not to oversaturate them. And that comes with over contrasting them as well.
Yeah.
Contrast creates saturation. So if you can avoid that, you're going to have some nicer, subtle colors as opposed to that clown vomit that we see on some shots. Yeah. And it's nothing against the person taking the photo. We don't want to get our asses kicked for that. It's just, again, it's probably just a bit of a lack of experience, but it does look really, really overcooked. And you actually lose the definition between all those beams and things like that when it just all amalgamates into one sort of blob of color.
Particularly when you use foreground, which we're massive advocates for when you're shooting aurora. I think beginners to aurora, fill your boots, go out and shoot to the horizon with nothing in the foreground. Totally cool. I'm all for that. However, the more experienced you get, you will find that the better photos and the more engaging photos are the ones with foreground, like Cam's got on the screen now. Like when I go to the beach, I get the beach stairs normally, or a lighthouse or something like that. So when it comes to editing, you've got to remember that you've still got to edit for that foreground subject, not just the aurora, and that's where things can get a little tricky.
Yeah, and I think that's where people fall down more so. I think most people get the camera settings right because they've got the file to play with. They've got the image there to edit. I think 99% of people get that right. Even the iPhones do a pretty good job of it. But when they go in and start editing it, they go a bit too far with the sliders either way. Most of my aurora shots, the contrast might be about 30 plus 35 plus 40 for the overall thing, and that's about it then. Because otherwise it becomes just too dark, too shitty, and it just loses the impact of what it was.
Yeah. And remember, folks, when you do, I mean, because I get this a lot as well. When I go to the beach and the aurora's happening, there's people out with their phones, and everyone says the same thing. Oh, the phone can see it so much better. Yeah. It kind of can, but what it does is it basically it's Photoshop in your phone. It does it live.
Yeah, it is.
It happens. This is the thing. This is what they're doing, the editing on the fly to make it look way more spectacular than it actually is. But they are good reference shots. So you can, get a shot with your phone and then have your camera set up, get your own exposure values right, get everything set properly, get your shot, and then use your phone shot as a reference about editing. And with Samsung, what not to do.
Yes. What you can also do if you want to try and get that instant feedback, shoot JPEG and RAW. Yeah. Because the camera will give you a similar output as what the phone is, because it's doing its own semi-processing anyway. Correct. And it gives you a good reference point. But the main thing, again, when you're shooting those auroras is just it's the same with landscape. Like, we don't want to lose highlights in those beams and things like that. So if you're getting shots back and you can't see details in the beams and the actual color in the sky, you need to make some adjustments, because you won't be able to edit that out. And I think from a lot of the shots I see afterwards, that you can see people are trying to polish that out because they've made a bit of an error, and it just becomes those blobs of color, and that just loses the appeal. So yeah, it's and it's getting popular. Like last night where we went, we didn't see anyone the whole time we're out, but Sunday night we were in where that big tree was. We were in a dirty old field in the middle of nowhere, and 3 people rocked up with cameras. Like, yeah, we're not alone. So
yeah, but that's the that's social media for you. I mean, now, everyone knows when it's going to happen. Back in the day, no one knew, and if people got photos of it, it was like, what? That's not real.
Yeah, that's photoshopped.
Yeah, social media has really put paid to all of that, which is good and bad in some ways. I mean,
look, I think it's good. It's great to see people out there, and it's like, what I love seeing is the kids out there. The kids go out with their parents and have a look, and my kids just like tonight said, "Oh, can we go out next time with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll go out the next one." And they're like, "I remember the one last year. That was huge." I'm like, "Yeah, it was." So it gets them excited, and it's a memory that I've got a couple of customers that lived in Hobart their whole life, and they're a bit nonchalant about it. Like, "Oh yeah, we saw them as kids all the time. There was every second night there was an Aurora down here," and but they remember it. They remember it as a kid, and it's a great memory for them.
Well, that's exactly right. And I went out with my daughter Abby. It was basically, I just went to a room and said, "Aurora's going to happen. I'm going to go to chase it. Do you want to come?" Oh yeah. She was all over it. Really enjoyed sort of heading out, and sort of, also she enjoys the process, and I've taught her a lot about it. And I'm just uploading one of my Aurora photos just for gigs. But we enjoyed the process together, and it's that waiting for the image to come up on the screen too, which is really cool. And knowing that you're doing a 12, 13 second exposure, and you just got to wait for that time, so it's cool.
I love that first one. The first one when you set up somewhere and you're like, okay, is it happening? Is it going off? Yeah, it's going off. And you're like, yes, okay, it is going off. Yeah.
And this was the other night, and I know this is really subtle, and there was not a lot of Aurora, but man, I love that foreground. Like the waves really,
the waves are cool.
And I've got the Southern Cross up there as well.
I reckon with that one, I reckon you can bring that up almost an extra stop.
Probably could.
Exposure. I reckon you can bring that up, and then you'll probably see those beams pop off a bit more as well. Yeah. Something else you can do when you're doing astrophotography as well, which makes it quite easy in the programs these days. You can just select sky, and then you can just work on the sky on its own. Where in the day you get that really crappy sort of switch between the sky and a foreground. Looks out of whack. It looks like it's all artificial. But nighttime, because it's so distinctive, that horizon in the sky, you can sort of play around with that a bit. But yeah, those waves are very cool.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I've done long exposure stuff for years. Aurora or no Aurora, and that's an example of using the waves. So when you get a half decent swell, the tide was okay. It was sort of upish, so that was good. It sort of all marries together, and the stairs are lit by that moon that you were talking about before.
Yeah. And I keep forgetting that you're in Victoria, so you don't get them as cool as we do.
They don't get anywhere near as strong because we're nowhere near as south. But that one last year,
that was huge.
I'll say it again. I've told this story 100 times. I was standing with Pete James, who's a local, very, very talented local photographer here. And it was just the two of us standing on this jetty. And I looked up and I said, "Are we in Ocean Grove or are we in Norway?"
Yeah.
And it was like, "Are you seeing this?" And he's like, it's real.
Yeah, that was a big one. So
and that was making stuff.
You know what else I've seen? I've seen a lot of shots from cockpits and planes lately.
Yeah,
I think people are getting a bit more ambitious with their asking of flight hostesses to put their camera in the cockpit. So
yeah, I'm sure they're loving that.
Oh, they love that. I actually think they would. Actually, the pilots get a bit of a kick, I reckon.
Let's move on from Auroras for 1 second. I'll put my actual photo of the week up. Which is
I was going to say, where's your photo week?
That one right there. This is.
Oh yes.
If you don't know,
this is a apostle.
This is at the Summer Apostles, exactly right.
Yeah.
Our logo there. So we went down the Great Ocean Road last week, Cam.
Was that last week?
Yes.
No,
whenever it was. The week before last.
I
lose track.
Yeah. We did go down there. We went with a bunch of people. It was pretty good fun.
what I like to teach when we're at the Apostles, waiting for the sunset, is to have a good look around. And
yeah, that's round 26. Actually, round 26 is have a good look around.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's right. We weren't going to ever bring that up on the show, but now
Well, we are. We brought it up. We brought up the World Championships. Those who were on the trip
all time. But anyway,
those who are on the trip know all about the World Championships in each round.
There's one person in particular pissing herself laughing right now. So
get it, Sharon.
Yes, yeah, Shaz Banger. This is so the 12 Apostles, and the other thing about going to the Apostles, of course, is the crowd. So you put up with the people. And you would have noticed this as well, that this year it was better because we had the second platform open.
Yes. Yep.
So it was a better spread. I know in front of me where this photo was done, there was half the people there was last year. So that's a win.
Yeah.
Spread people out a bit. People get a bit more room to take photos. And just while I was waiting for the light to improve on the, and the sunset to come, this is probably a good hour before sunset.
Yeah, we did wait a bit, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I just noticed these little grasses and things in the front and, added to the foreground.
That looks so much like unbelievably so much like a old film shot.
Does it?
It looks like
the bokeh.
I think it's the bokeh, and I think it's the color of it. It looks like a slide film.
It was really harsh light.
It was.
So for those of you playing at home, this is on the 100 to 400. It will be close. I'd say it's probably at about 300 mil. That little sort of bush in front of me, or whatever you would call it, is only about
shrubbery.
Jeepers, I'd want to say maybe 3 meters away, if that.
Yeah.
But of course, I positioned myself so you could have that backdrop, and you know immediately where we are. So,
and congratulations on getting the horizon straight. That's a big deal.
I try. I watch this podcast called the Down South Photo Show. They talk about
those
photo tips all the time.
Do they? Do you actually listen? No one else does. That was a very good trip. We had a lot of fun, and it was one of those. We had lots of laughs, and obviously there was that in-house joke that we won't mention anymore. But
it was a laugh a minute.
It was a laugh a minute. We got a lovely email from Rhonda, who was on the trip, saying thanks for coming along. She had a great time, and we know Shazbang had a great time. We know everyone that came along had a great time. SJE got some great shots. She almost got swept out to sea, but she was okay. But we had a great time. We are going again next year, aren't we?
We are.
We are.
Shall I plug that? We might as well.
Well, I can plug it for you because it's the July 19th to the 23rd. You're plugging the Tarkine Cradle one down the bottom. No. Are they all on there?
Got a few on there, mate. So we've actually moved the Great Ocean Road back. A month, 2 months next year.
Yeah, we didn't know we had until we put it up there and went, we've actually moved it.
We've actually moved that. But that's fine. That's totally cool.
Yeah, so July 19th to 23rd, a little bit later in the year or in the middle of the year. Yes, it's going to be maybe a little bit cooler, but
that's 2026, by the way, not next month.
2026, not next month. So there's only 7 spots left. I think there's already a spot sold on that. According to my thing here. I don't know, I might be making that up.
No, I think you're right, actually.
So there is Robin's coming. Robin's already booked in. But being that time of year, yes, it'll be a bit cooler, but hopefully we also might get a little bit different weather. We might get some more wild weather or a bit more fog and stuff rolling in. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens. But I think it might work okay. So
it'll either work really well, or in 2027 we hightail it back to May. We'll see.
Yeah. Otherwise we change around. But so that's available now. You can book your spot with a small deposit, with the balance due probably around about April, May next year. It's a great trip. There's so much to shoot down on that coastline. I'm actually going to Adelaide. I'm actually going to Flinders Ranges next week.
Yes.
And I'm tempted to do something stupid and actually go to Adelaide via the Great Ocean Road. I know it adds a lot more hours on, but
it does. Geelong, but the issue you're going to have is you're going to want to stop every 20 minutes.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know why. I've only been down there 2 weeks ago. I don't really need to go there again, but I just thought, that'd be cool. Take the scenic route along the coastline. But
of course, it's not just where we went on the Great Ocean Road. There is the greater Great Ocean Road area beyond. Particularly, I mean, we get as far as the Grotto and do a U-turn and come back. Well, from there, you can go to the Bay of Islands, you can go to Peterborough, you can go to Warrnambool. Warrnambool is fantastic. Beautiful coastline there.
Yeah.
Port Fairy, Portland.
Jeez, if I
Mount
do
Gambier.
Geelong to Adelaide, that's not even Adelaide, is it? Oh, yeah. Geelong to Adelaide. That's like 11 hours.
That's just, and that's going is
That's
that
just
along the
going,
Great Ocean Road?
that's going along the Great Ocean Road non-stop. Well, if I go via inland sort of
about
thing.
8.
Yeah, if I take
I
that
know
out.
this because I drove it 2 months
I
ago.
was going to say, yeah, it's just below 8, 7 hours, 57 minutes.
I was driving safely.
Yes.
Yeah, look, that whole coastline, my daughter spent some time driving off the end of the Great Ocean Road down to
She drove off the end of it.
off the end of the Great Ocean Road. As those words were leaving my lips, I knew you were going to pick me up on that.
Did you? All right. I'm getting predictable.
But she also visited the Fluoro Peninsula, which is sort of south of Adelaide. She loved it. Said it was brilliant.
Oh,
and
never heard of that.
It's an area that it's where Kangaroo Island is.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
So off the Fluoro Peninsula is Kangaroo Island. You've also got places like Goolwa. There's a couple of other really cool towns that escape me right now. But anyway, yeah, great part of the world. Maybe we should run a workshop there. Anyway, we digress.
I was just thinking that. Why don't we do a workshop on Kangaroo Island?
Okay, done. Let's put it up. Sweet.
That'd be cool. I've never been there.
I went there 15 years ago,
right,
and loved it. It's a good spot.
Yeah, maybe that could be another down south photo show
Extravaganza.
Road trip from Adelaide.
Watch this space. Cam, talk to me about you had your first OzGeo trip.
Yeah, I did. That's where I was last week. I was doing the Tarkine Wilderness in collaboration with Australian Geographic. So that was the first one we're doing, which is big news for us.
Yep.
It went really, really well. We had a great group of people. I had the lovely Cheryl helping me out, which is amazing because I needed that we had 9 people. But it went really well. We had really good.
That's the biggest group you've ever taken, isn't it?
That's a big group, apart from Utah last year, but I had your help for that, so that was okay.
There were 3 of us on that one.
Yeah. No, it went really well. We had good weather. We got some great shots. We got the forest one day, had all the fog and the mist and mood in it, which is great. It got wild and crazy on the coastline. So that was really cool. So we had a bit of everything. But it went really well. And OzGeo have already sent me a message today saying they've had a couple of the customers ring up and just praise how good the tour went. We've had some beautiful emails from people that have just said, look, we had a great time. Can't wait to come again. So in all things, it went really, really well. And it was just a lot of fun, actually. So I've got a couple of shots I've uploaded there. These are probably my 2 favorite shots from the trip. So one's of a tree and one's of the coastline. This is classic Tarkine.
Look at us being photo heavy on the.
I know, that's great, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah, this is we had this fog come through right on sunset. We'd already made a decision that sunset was going to be a bit of a fizzer on the coast where we'd go. So we came into the forest and we had this mist come through, and then it just got lit up with this golden light. It was a couple of really lovely moments.
Brilliant.
So that's the classic Tarkine big tree. And then the next one was the next day on the coastline with around about 60 to 70k winds just blowing from South America, just crashing into the coastline. And you always get this sort of rays of light out there. There's always the broken cloud. And again, it was just really cool moments where the guests were all, you're the same, when you go down into Murray Mallee, when we go out to Sea Lake and people haven't been to Lake Tyrrell before, you sort of get giddy that, these guys are going to love this when they see it.
Yeah,
I do this spot here, which is called the Edge of the World. On a windy day, you get into the car park, but you're sort of sheltered a bit from the wind. It's windy, but it's not proper wind. And I always get giddy. I'm like, I'll wait till they get around the corner here and get out in the weather. And we got around the corner. It was just like, bang, straight in your face, wind. It was cold. It was wild. But then we had all these amazing violent seas happening for photos. So people forget about the weather real quick when they can get great shots like this. So
how good is that rock?
It's very cool. We saw some waves crashing in about halfway on that as the day went on. So, but yeah, it was a great group. We have another Tarkine with OzGeo happening in August as well. After our Tarkine, the Cradle one, we're doing another one. So if you've missed out on the Tarkine, the Cradle with Down South Photo Show, you can always jump on the OzGeo one. There's still a few spots on that one left. We're doing the Flinders Island one as well. That's sold out, which is great. yeah, no, it went really well. Good to work with. The team of Osgeo Travel were really hands on, but it was quite funny though. Like we'd done all the groundwork for this trip. We get on the trip. I didn't hear from them the whole. I was expecting like a phone call or a message, like just checking up to see if I'd actually rocked up, and no, like nothing until
They knew they were in good hands, mate. So they just
if only they knew. If only they knew, Brendan.
You are very experienced at doing this kind of stuff.
I am experienced now, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt weird. I kept saying to Cheryl, like, surely they're going to call me to see if I'm here. Like, she's like, well, maybe not.
Probably only call you if things go wrong.
No, but great group. We had some really good people, and we got some great shots. And yeah, I think everyone will be back on a tour soon.
Cool, excellent. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. The fresh off the Great Ocean Road with your good self. I'm going to speak for myself. I love doing these things. They're so cool. And you hit the nail on the head. It's taking the people to the places. Places I've been 1,000 times, but when they make the effort to get there, it's always going to be worth it. Yeah. One of those places, and I'll say it again, is the 12 Apostles. I think the 12 Apostles and Gibson Steps are very, very special places. And that every time you walk around the corner and see those apostles, when you haven't seen them for a little while, it's a pretty special place. So join us one day, won't you? Can I do a quick gear review actually on the channel?
A gear review on the channel. Have we authorized this? Has this been authorized by anyone?
I have a. This is not sponsored, by the way. This is something I picked up during the week, and I really like it.
It's a Leo photo.
It is from Leo Photo.
Leo Photo.
Leo. Oh, that's not going to focus. There you go. That's a plug for you. And then not. I wanted to get my hands. So now, Cameron, you're familiar with my tripod.
Have you got rid of it? Have you thrown it out?
No, I'm putting that thing on a plinth up here in my office. That
needs to be buried with the dinosaurs. That thing.
I love it. And I think I've got for those of you who haven't seen it, I have a 20-year-old Manfrotto 055 X Pro B, which I love. It weighs more than me. It's got bits of paint flaking off it. It has salt encrusted on it because I've had that thing completely submersed in salt water, and I'm not making that up. That thing has been under salt water, and to this day, it's still going on strong. However, I am aging, and I need something lighter.
No, are you?
We told everyone about our hernias.
Yes.
Yeah. So in order, so I'm doing an unboxing on air. This is the Leaf Photo tripod. I'm going to put a link to it down below, but because I really like it, it's carbon fiber.
It's tiny.
There's not much to it, and I think it would have been awesome on the overland, or if you're doing some hiking and stuff like that. It's very, very good for that sort of thing. It has the excellent quick release legs, which we all know and love. This is a 4-part leg that comes out. The other thing is the ball head. It's mint. Like this is all steel. Like there's no plasticky bits. You get some of those tripods. We won't name brands, but you see some of them. We've had them on our tours where the legs are carbon fiber, but this is plastic. Like there's plastic bits in here, and it's just unstable, nightmare to lock off and that sort of stuff. This is all metal. So, cool little tripod. I got this, and I got one from Explorer, which I haven't opened yet. But
I got one from Benro, which is over on the couch. Yeah, Benro. So it looks a bit similar to that.
It's a tripod day.
Maybe we should have a tripod off.
Well, there's a cool feature about. I mean, I don't know if many people know about these, but you can move this, and then the lead goes out. Yeah. And, then when you push it down, it clicks into place. It makes this really nice sound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, that's nice.
I took a photo. I thought I took a photo last night. My tripod's sitting on the sand dunes. I had one leg extended all the way out, and then the two other legs were short and spread because it was like this big sand dune. So it was about my height where the camera was, but I had it sitting almost on the sand dunes on the tripod. So yeah, you can do some pretty cool stuff with tripods these days.
You can.
Are you selling them in the shop? Did you say?
That's why I bought one, because I want to trial it. I have access to their range. Possibly. I'm going to actually put it through its paces and do a review. I might even film it and put it on our channel or something like that.
Right.
I want to properly put it through its paces. But so far, so good. Build quality is excellent.
So that Manfrotto tripod bag in the background, you probably need to turn that upside down now.
That's actually my old B free. That's my aluminium B free. So,
how many tripods do you have, Brendan?
As of buying this one and the other one that's coming, probably about 6. But anyway, hey, I'm in the game. That's what I do. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if you'd like to see a review of these, let me know, or a review of anything for that matter. We can. I've got access to all kinds of fun stuff. So as does
access to heaps of time to do those reviews too.
You betcha. And it also comes with an extension for the top, which gives you extra height, because you'll notice it doesn't have a center column, Cameron.
No, my one doesn't have a center column either.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a bit of a trend now, because the center column quite often gets in the way when you're trying to pack it up and all that sort of stuff.
Well, you know what you need though? What makes it, you need an L bracket for your camera then.
Yes.
So when you're trying to tip it to do a portrait shot, the camera gets in the way of all the dials below. So an L bracket for you. Yeah.
The good people at Leo Photo have made that Arca Swiss, so you can put an L bracket on your camera and click it in, click it out, which is very cool.
Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, so in the bag, just real quick, they give you, I noticed this before, they give you the little telescopic headpiece, so you can actually make it taller. You can fit that onto there, and it makes
that's cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to have that attached to you all the time, or even take it with you all the time.
Yeah, right.
And that, let me tell you, weighs
nothing,
3/5 of bugger all. So
right, that's pretty light.
Yeah, cool. So as I say, I'm going to put it through, and they, oh wow, look, tools.
Oh look, everyone needs extra Allen keys. Jesus,
that looks like a bottle opener. Now that's a win.
Oh no, that's what you need hanging off your tripod, just a bottle opener.
I think it's actually a bottle opener.
No, surely it can't be.
I could open a stubby with that. What is that?
That is a bottle opener.
It's a bottle opener.
All right, I'm sold.
Hey, bonus points to Leo Photo.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I digress.
They're actually a bottle opener company that just makes tripods.
They throw in a free tripod. That's right. That's going to sit over here. Actually, shall I put it in the background? There you go.
Yeah, well, mate, let's give it a good plug now.
And everyone knows very well that will be still there next week.
That'll be there next year, I reckon.
Probably. Maybe I'll put maybe my Manfrotto should go there. Anyway, we're banging on here. And
that should go into a glass cabinet, that Manfrotto.
Under glass.
Yeah, sent through to the National Archives Museum of Tripods.
We don't have a Dear Cam this week, but if you would like to send us a Dear Cam question, by all means, hit us up at our website, which is about to be on the screen, dsps.com.au. Go there. You can contact us there. You can see all the workshops. You can see photos. You can see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and we occasionally update it once a year. So
we do occasionally. Cameron,
we probably need to update it again, don't we?
Oh, we will eventually. Beer donations, please.
Beer donations. Yep, no problems. So we had some beer donations because we're not allowed to do that joke anymore. Thank you to Mel H for the beer. Sean M, Sharon T, and Simon N. There's a lot of S's in this week's beer donations. Thank you. I don't know. I think everyone bought maybe a pot. I don't think we got any slabs this week. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure they will. But so yeah, thank you for those guys. If we've missed you with your beer donation, it's not because we haven't seen it. It's probably because we've just drunk it.
True.
I think we're up to date with beer donations from what I can see. Robin White, no, she booked a spot. I'm just looking at the order. Sarah Eggins did buy us a slab. I think we mentioned her last time.
I believe we did.
So, ticket holder number 2 though hasn't bought a beer for a while. Jenny Cooper. Just saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she
awkward,
did.
Isn't it? It's awkward.
But she did book into Glenn Lavender's workshop that I have at my shop in 2 weeks' time.
Speaking of Glenn Lavender,
the 22nd of June down here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, I have the wonderfully talented Glenn Lavender coming down to do his natural light portrait workshop. I've got one spot left.
Yeah.
It's linked below if you want to come along. Why not? Jenny will be there. Mel will be there.
Oh, those two together are not good.
I know. I'm going to keep them at opposite ends of the room.
And then throw Glenn into the mix. What could possibly go wrong?
They're like school kids.
Oh, aren't they? Unbelievable. Speaking of Glenn, he wants me to go to India with him.
Cool. Off you go.
Yeah, so I got to have a talk to him about when I can go. I don't know if I got time, to be honest.
When's he? It's in October, isn't it?
He wants to either late November or
Okay.
late March or Easter time. But I've got stuff on. I'm a bit busy all through. I don't think I can.
You're just a busy man. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I can. Sorry, Glenn, but I'll have to let him know.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Can I plug one more thing?
Oh God, this is not a plug.
it.
This is starting to sound like the Lucky Strap show.
Oh, it's a low blow. Hello to the guys at Lucky Strap.
How's our sponsorship going?
We need some straps or something, don't we? What happened to those?
What happened? We're certainly on the nose, aren't we? Any show that has Matt Crum and Tom Putt and a few others on there for 3 hours, come on. Clearly, we're not worthy.
I have a new photo tour.
You do.
It's right here on the Bellarine. So I know.
No, that's all right. No, I'll just turn my camera off and go to sleep.
Well, we only talked about yours for an hour, so let's talk about mine. We had I've got the Bellarine Peninsula 4-day workshop, which is all new, and it happens this September. So I've got a couple of people coming along already, which is exciting. I'm excited for it. It's going to happen. So it's 4 days right here on my own backyard. Jump on to cameraandphoto.com.au, which is all linked below, all down there. Anyway, it's a new one. Just thought people might like to know that.
4 days, did you say?
Yep, 4 days. And we started, it's actually pretty cool because my shop's here, we get to start in the shop on Sunday afternoon.
You get people working there.
And we do like a 1 hour, 90 minute sort of session talking about what camera you've got, that sort of stuff. And we go out and shoot the sunset and go for dinner and have a nice time.
Do you do Point Lonsdale Lighthouse?
We do Point Lonsdale Lighthouse twice.
Oh, do you do how far down the peninsula do you go?
And sunset. So we have the potential to go as far as Bell's Beach in Torquay, which may or may not be needed because there are just so many amazing places right here. We have Barwon Heads, of course, the bridges, the bluff, the famous stairs at Ocean Grove that are littered along the coastline. We will take you to. On the other side of the peninsula, we have Clifton Springs, the Dell at Clifton Springs, which is...
They have like that jetty. There's a jetty there,
correct.
Isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
We can go to the jetty. We have the Queenscliff Marina. We have the Queenscliff Lighthouse. We have... there's a lot. So I'm really looking forward to doing that one. And as I say, jump on the website and check it all out. That
would be suited for someone Melbourne, maybe, or...
Wherever you're from, we have options for accommodation, or you can, if you want to organise your own accommodation, we have an option for you there as well. So, by all means,
you've got it all worked out.
Now, you got a masterclass coming up, Cameron.
I do. This weekend, I do have a masterclass.
How do you fill this stuff in?
This is the $1 million question. I don't know. I need a break. Actually, I've got a bit of a break after this. I've actually got after the masterclass weekend and Flinders Ranges. I've actually got like 3 weeks off, which is good. So and then I've got another. I might even have a month off after that. So I've got a Cradle Mountain workshop in winter that's still needing a few people. So we don't get the people who have a break. Masterclass, I got that coming up on the weekend. So that's just 2 days where we go out one day, take some photos, and then the second day we come into the office here, which needs a pretty good cleanup before people get here.
People in glass houses, mate. Don't worry. I'm with you.
I might leave the purple lights on just to play with their eyes. And then we do some printing on that second day, which reminds me, I've got to check my paper levels, which I think are pretty good. And then, Monday I'm on the boat to Geelong. So I'll be in Geelong Tuesday morning on my way, and then make my way to Adelaide.
Okay. What time's the boat get in?
6:30.
You got time for breakfast?
I reckon I could come down and have some brekkie.
No, I'll come to you.
Oh, yeah, if you want to meet me in Geelong. Yeah,
I can meet
you. That'd be good, actually. That would save me going back.
So no one listens this far. This is just where we organise our social life.
This is where we organise our that's right. We organise when we're playing golf, when we're catching up, and what we're doing. Right. That could be good. Yeah, it gets in at 6:30 or something like that. So
perfect. 7:00 breakfast somewhere.
Tell me where to be, and I will be there.
Okay, not Ocean Grove. I'll come to you. No. You come down here enough.
Yeah. And you've plugged your Glen Lavender and you've plugged your Bellarine Peninsula.
Done that.
When is it again? September when?
Starts on the 7th of September. Yes, I am fully aware that is Father's Day.
Are
but
you
that's
fully
one-
aware that that's also finals football? Oh, that's right. You're a Melbourne supporter. You should be fine.
No, it's not though. It's bye round. So, you know,
You're so
and,
slick.
and it starts Sunday night. So we're fine.
You're fine. You've worked that out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be good.
How's your
Look
team
forward-
going at the moment?
Anyway, so what are we doing next week? Episode 166. My team's shit at the moment.
At the moment, things
no,
change, Cameron.
No, I
Keep-
think
stick fat.
if-
Stick fat.
what are we? June the 4th, episode 165.
Yeah.
They'll be lucky to make finals, Hawthorn. I think they're cooked. I think
That's fence sitting. Lucky to make. Come on. Put it
No,
out there.
I
They're making
don't.
finals, or they not?
I don't think they will.
Okay, there you go. Good. You heard it here
And
first.
I think they've been caught out. Their game plan's a little bit predictable now. So teams are. We're not a football show. What are we talking about?
No. Well, Hawthorn
hey.
got more chance of making the finals than the Tasmanian Devils. Let's face it.
Don't get me on that. Jeez,
Sorry.
this place is beeped. That's what
Don't.
it is. It's
Don't.
beeped. I beeped.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Next
Good.
topic. Anyway,
We're done.
we're done. I might not be here next week unless you want to do one from the Flinders Rangers, but
Ooh.
that might be a bit tricky. But
Hey, we'll see. It depends on if this guest I've got lined up comes through, but we'll see.
okay. All right.
How exciting.
Let us know.
Cliffhanger.
Well, on that note,
That has been episode 165 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 166 next week, probably.
what's that? Anchorman? Have you seen the Anchorman? Where he reads the
I have not.
where he reads the teleprompter and they
Oh,
keep
that's
putting
right,
the wrong.
I have
They keep
seen
putting
that.
they keep putting the wrong punctuation on the helicopter. And that's a question. Yeah, cool. All right. We really do need to do the off cut of that start of the show. That was very funny.
That will
And
never see the light of day.
I'll tell you what. Here's a deal for you. Either
Mm.
put that in or I release the other video.
That's blackmail.
Yep, and it's recorded. You can charge me, take me to court. Don't care.
Say goodbye, Cameron.
Goodbye, Cameron.
Bye.
Bye.